All right, and we are live on YouTube for Ask Junior.
Awesome. It's finally time for my favorite part of the show, Ask Junior, live on YouTube. And this is brought to you by Xfinity XFi. It's a great internet service. You guys have sent all your questions into Xfinity Racing on Twitter, and Hannah's gathered her favorites, and she's going to get us kicked off here.
Well, the first one here, because we've got a couple good ones and one that we know is going to take a little bit more time to talk about. This first one comes from Kyle Lawler. It says, with the weather delays yesterdays, do you have any good stories about waiting out a rain delay in your driving career? I always know for us, we go through the snack drawer. A lot of snacks are consumed in rain delays.
Yeah. The one rain delay that I'll never forget is the one for the 2014 Daytona 500. You know, we just to sit there, I think, for 6 hours, twiddling our thumbs, and we would you'll go back to the bus or wherever you go and kick your feet up on the couch and check out your fantasy football lineup or whatever else is going on that day, watch some football on TV, get on social media and start talking with people was always a great way to pass the time. But it was never, I will say this, like, rain delays are not fun. They are not fun. And it isn't just, there's a certain anxiety and a certain amount of nervousness and butterflies that you get when you're getting ready to drive a race car and race in a race in competition, right? You got pressure, you want to win, you're nervous about doing well, and when the race is going to start, and that's when you're going to get in and go. And then when there's a pause in that lasts for hours, it's tough. It's kind of nauseating a little bit to sit there and have to wait and not know. I think the not knowing when you're going to start again, right? The other thing too is all of us, you at home, everybody in this room, we have something we're going to do the next day. We got a plan, right? Whether it's a job or some other thing that we've scheduled. And if the race gets pushed to the next day, all of that has to be rearranged. Maybe it's an important event or a family event that you're going to have to miss. But that can add to the frustration a little bit as well. But I did not mind, or I guess I didn't seem to care about the rain delay we had in 2014. For some reason, when I got back in the car, the race, it was a completely different race. I was in a different mindset. The car was different. I don't know. When we ran, if you watched the Daytona 500 in 2014, before the rain delay, we ran mid-pack. It was like we didn't have no answers for how to move forward. I couldn't figure out what I needed to do. Nothing was really clicking at all. And then then we have a rain delay. Then after that, it's a completely different car, team, driver, everything. Everything was clicking. Everything was right. We were there to win. We were not taking anything else as a result. It was a win, and that was it. I mean, it just seemed I don't know what changed. But when we got back in the car and went back to racing, everything I was doing was working. And my confidence was better, and everything. It's weird. I got no answer and explanation for it, but it was like a completely different race for me.
Yeah, rain delays really have a way of throwing everything off.
Yes.
And before we get to the next question here, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, but we wanted to bring our Ask Junior fans in as well. We talked about the success that Trackhouse has had. 3 wins so far, really in their first season, and we want your guys' idea on if there's a comparison that you guys can think of in NASCAR history of a team that's had similar success.
Yeah, that's for everybody out there watching. One that we've been already noted was Hendrick in 1984, right, or 85,
and Kiefer in 54.
Yeah.
You don't like him.
I don't not like him. I just think it's too far. It's too old. It's too. I mean, everybody showed up, and that was when NASCAR was just being born, so everybody was new on the scene, right? So it's hard to compare because there were probably multiple teams that come out, like guys winning their first race, and anyways. Hendrick's a good one.
So this next question is Friday night after doing the Dale Jr. download, who left Broadway first and who was more sober? This guy's a big Junior Nation fan for life, from Eric.
So I had a friend of mine that was celebrating their 40th birthday, and they had decided that they wanted to do this in Nashville. And so they came into town on Sunday. My wife, Amy, it's part of her family from Texas. She came into town Sunday. So they are all at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday downtown on Broadway. And they're sending me pictures, of them at the bar with beers and, hey, we're waiting on you and can't wait for you to get here. And I'm telling Amy, all right, now, come on. I'm going to be, 9:30, 10 o'clock before I get there. So don't get tired. Mama got up at 6:30 with the kids. She's pretty wore out by 10 o'clock, no matter what. And so I was hoping that they would all still have some energy when I get there, even though they were going to be running hard all day long on Broadway. And then we had the delays, and I'm texting them going, I'm going to be a little later. I ain't going to get out of here. I might be midnight. And so sure enough, we get the race done at 11, and I text them. I'm like, I'm coming, and whoever's up, that's whoever's up, right? And I'm going to the bar, and I'm gonna get mine. So we had a fun time trying to get over there, and anyways, me and Tony Mayoff, we drove to Broadway, got there around 12:15. I chugged a couple beers, got up on a plane, and just kind of rode it out. It was good. We walked around a little. I saw my nephew Jeffrey on Broadway, ran into him. And, we kind of hung at Tootsie's mostly. That's where they were, so that's where I met them, and we had a fun time. There was a house band, and had a little fun with them, and it was good. So, but I was at 3:30. I was like, it was 3 in the afternoon for me, right? I was just getting going, and everybody else was like, oh well, bars are closing down. And I'm like, no. So, anyways, we went and laid down, went to sleep.
That question was asking about Friday night, though, right? Is that what it said? Like
after
that's not a fair question because he had to work. He was coming from work and he had to go back to work the next morning.
I thought that was
what it said?
That was the question.
It did say Friday, but honestly, I feel like that was the story.
Oh,
That was
no,
the better
his story's
story,
way
anyways.
better. I just want to clarify. He wasn't trying. I mean, like the guy's working.
Yeah, he's got to work.
He better not be the one out all night Friday night.
Yeah.
Mike, didn't you close down all red?
Mike,
I was at. Yeah, but I didn't have a job to do after that. I came and did what I did, so I stayed there.
Friday after our Dale Jr. Download show, I went to the bus at the track and went to bed. Mike closed the bar down. Sunday after the race, Mike was in bed, and I closed the bar down.
That's right.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear Friday in there.
All right, this question here comes from Ryan Johnson, and it's kind of a much anticipated one. Were you able to see the Tony Stewart and Ernie Francis incident from the SRX race where Smoked seemed to be irate with Ernie? Of course, they raced at South Boston this past weekend.
Yeah, so I saw the video of him pretty upset with Ernie, and then the comments about Uncle Tony and how there were 3 Cup guys on the podium and that these other guys need to figure it out. They did a lot of damage to those cars. I know those guys will be working really hard at trying to get those cars ready again. So my reaction to it was, doesn't Tony invite these guys to race this race?
That's right. Doesn't he have to say so? Which, by the way, I think so, and I love it even more because of that, right?
Okay.
I mean, things that are awkward for normal people are just not awkward for Tony, right? You know what I mean?
Right. That's true. So, like, when I saw, we had Ernie in here, right?
Yeah, Ernie this year.
He's a
good kid.
Great kid.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine ever being that. Even if I was that angry with him, I'd never be like, hey, you.
Yeah, he's so cute and young and innocent. Like, what are you going to do? You can't get mad at him.
Oh, man.
I mean, he had him by the back of the neck and was
So-
like holding him by
Alright.
the suit. But the favorite thing is I think they went to commercial. Like it happened. They got some of it. They came out of commercial and then they had a Tony interview.
Oh,
And Tony was like, "Yeah, we're good. We talked it out." It was almost like they just went to the bar and had a beer together.
Of
Like they were
course.
good. Everything was fine. Like it's quality, but the comedic part of everything that took place in that series is just like between Paul Tracy and Michael threatening to dump someone.
yeah.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment.
It's for sure.
I think that they absolutely turned the knob up a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
For the show, and I think not that Tony's frustration with Ernie was all an act, but I think that they absolutely just let it go. Like whatever emotion they're having, they just let it out, let it run, because it needs to be entertaining. They're not they can't just show up and run a race and go home, right? It's a TV show, all right, and so NBC or CBS expects them to deliver. I think that when they got done, they probably thought, yeah, we probably don't need to do this much physical damage to the cars. We do have to get them back on the racetrack in a very short period of time. But otherwise, I didn't watch the whole thing, but it absolutely checked all the big boxes in entertainment, for what they're aiming for. And so part of me, I know that Tony was genuinely angry, but part of me also thinks that it was a lot of the things that happen are for the show, right? Like, Michael's frustrations and all the guy, Paul Tracy and the way Paul like that every day? I doubt it.
No, I think
I think he is.
He is.
If you go back and watch like old videos
Yeah.
and old interviews and
I
stuff
think
like
that
that,
my point is that I think they're encouraged
oh, for sure.
to animate, their natural reactions a little bit. Go ahead.
I'd love to sit in on a driver's meeting.
Oh, I was
For
in the driver's
SRX?
meeting this past week. I went there with my little guy, and Tony kind of took over the driver's meeting. But I'll say this. That was the grumpiest I've ever seen Tony Stewart in a while.
Oh,
and he
yeah,
carried
in
it
a
through the
while.
heat races.
All day?
All day.
Yeah.
And
Why was he grumpy?
I don't know. It was hot out, all that. But I'll tell you
It
what,
was
even
hot.
in Victory Lane, there was fans mouthing things off through the fence, and he was chirping back at him. Somebody even said, I want Dale Jr. And he was like, I want him too. Blah, blah, blah. He was vintage Tony. He was fiery. I had to explain to my little 6-year-old, like, hey, that Tony just didn't understand when he gets out of the race car, he's just really fiery, because he was watching the whole thing like this, and I didn't want him to have a bad opinion of Tony,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a firecracker.
I miss him. I miss him in our sport so bad. Like, God, I didn't appreciate him when he was here like as much as I unfiltered and overweight and talented.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I say overweight in that it makes him unique, because now everybody's got to be fit and,
Jockeys.
cycling with Jimmy Johnson or whatever. It's like, whatever. Tony is the anti-establishment guy. That's what Tony is. He's the anti-establishment guy. And, man, weren't we better off with him?
I think
he's that guy.
There was a quote from him somewhere that made me laugh, where he was like, yeah, I was only good halfway through the season and passed because I didn't work out like the rest of these guys. So when Daytona came around, it took me to half season to get back in shape. And then I was good about halfway season and on.
I just think, man, like, hey, be a little easier on your guests that you invited to the show.
Not me.
You're not going to
Dale's
grab
alone on
anyone's
that
neck.
one.
Yeah.
No. Rough him up, man.
So if you
Rough up them kids.
so if you
Kids,
get so
spank
if you,
them.
yeah, so if you get invited to Mike's house for a party, you got to be okay with being berated at some point.
Mike's going to just reach up over the
And
table,
grab
over
your
the
neck
gas, and
collar.
grab him by the neck and pick him
Mike
out of
could
the chair.
Mike could embarrass you in front of the whole.
If I'm paying my guests to be there, then yes, I have that right. They are getting paid. They have to perform, and they have to take what comes to them, and that's Tony, a dose of Tony.
We don't know what
Uncle
Ernie's
Uncle
getting.
Tony.
I don't know what he's getting either, but I'm saying is that they're getting paid to do that. So
We don't know that.
I know that.
Ernie might be
No, they get
glad to be there.
I'm not saying they're retiring on their yacht
Excited for the
after the
opportunity.
SRX season. I'm just saying that they're professional race car drivers. they know what they signed up for, and Tony's in the field. Tony's in the field. Hey,
I will say
what happens.
Yeah, I will say that the comments have certainly got people talking. They'll definitely be tuning into the next one. So
yeah, who was Michael mad at?
Ryan Hunter-Ray and him had contact, and then
Elio and
Michael,
Tracy.
Hunter-Ray got chopped down on him, or Michael chopped down on him, and he spun off the bumper and hit driver's side. So under caution, Michael tried to wreck him.
Oh, yeah, down the backstretch. He
oof.
went down and put Ryan Hunter-Ray in the inside retaining wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that right there could be dissected into like how real that was. Was that a real thing?
No, Michael was.
He was
pissed.
mad.
Pissed.
What does Michael Waltrip really pissed look like though? Because remember when he was on our show, he was like talking about he don't want to punch anybody, he don't want to fight anybody.
Well, he's seen him punch people.
Lake Speed.
That's
Michigan.
true. He did. That's right. He did.
That's
punch
what
somebody.
Michael looks like when he's mad.
Did he want to fight?
I don't know. I saw him after the heat race, and I thought he was going to fall out because he was so hot. So hot.
guarantee
And
it.
then in the feature, he was probably miserable in that car
Yeah.
when he got turned and put in the wall.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, a lot to obviously digest with that. They go to Stafford this weekend, and I'm sure it'll be entertaining nonetheless. And last question here coming from Ask Junior, and this is just kind of coming from our chat. I've seen it on social media as well. You, Dale, obviously turned laps last week at North Wilkesboro behind the wheel of late model stock. It's been announced. You're going to go run that race. You know, what's the excitement of now having hit the racetrack and then that entry has been filed?
Yeah. So the 31st of August, there's a 125 lap Cars Tour points event, and there's a lot I have to say about that. So first off, I hope that the Cars Tour competitors are excited about the opportunity to race at North Wilkesboro. I'm sure that they are not in love with it being a midweek race, and especially there's a race the weekend before, so they got to really turn around and in with less than 48 hours get their cars ready to go to North Wilkesboro and compete. And I know that that's not ideal, but I hope that I hope that generally they're all excited about competing at this racetrack and what their attendance will mean to not only that race itself but the future of the track. So I guess I should thank the Cars Tour, Jack and his whole organization, all of the competitors, car owners, and everybody for being on board to be able to go put on an event. And I've always been an admirer of the Cars Tour. We've had cars compete in that series, and I am thrilled to have an opportunity to race myself in this specific series, not let alone that it's at North Wilkesboro. So just a lot of things that I think that I really admire and think are cool coming together in one day. There'll be a practice and qualifying situation going on the day before on Tuesday, and tickets are $15, pretty reasonable for general admission grandstand tickets, and we're gonna just go out there and have some fun. So I think the first race in August on the 3rd, I believe, is the mods.
Second and third twin 50s.
Twin 50s. So there'll be a 50-lapper on the 2nd and a 50-lapper on the 3rd. I plan on going. I think I'm trying to convince my booth mates to go with me, and let's go up there and tailgate, have some fun.
Can we do a short podcast that day so I can make it?
I was going to say, yeah, we're going to go watch too.
Yeah. Wait, the race don't start till 7:30.
I know, but sometimes I'm editing till like 8:30.
That's a good point, yeah. So, anyways.
I guess we're going to see how fast you can edit a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to go to watch the mods run the very first race. That's their very first race North Wilkesboro is going to have on the 2nd and 3rd of August. I'm going to go watch that. I have to work on the weekend, so I'll miss the rest of the asphalt month up until we go run the Cars Tour race on Wednesday, the 31st. And I'm hoping that I really enjoy my experience with the Cars Tour And I'm hoping that this triggers me to compete in my late model more. I really do. I really do.
Like that.
So
I really do too.
I have been so hesitant to drive a race. I've been for whatever reason, I've just been real hesitant. And those guys are good. They do it every week, and you're gonna get, you're just gonna be hard to run with them. It'll be hard to compete with them. They're gonna know how to, they're gonna know not only the tire, the car, they're gonna know how to save. I got Josh Berry's gonna crew chief for me. I've tried to convince him to race in the race. He wants to help me, and he's refusing to drive. So Carson Quapple's going to drive our other car that he drives every week. And so it should be a lot of fun. We're going to actually another thing, too, I guess I want to put this out there. This is really important for the competitors. And I know there's going to be 30 guys there racing, including myself. We're going to have a Q&A at the racetrack for about 150 fans. Those are sold out both days. But for the competitors, I want you guys to come to the Q&A, and I want to, so we can talk about where you're from, a little bit about your racing career, and get a couple guys to come up on stage, as many as we can do in about 45 minutes to an hour. And we'll do this earlier in the day, so it's a good, it's not going to impede on practice or anything like that. But I'd love to have the competitors. I really want to get them involved in what we're doing, and highlight some of these guys that we, that are eager to come join us. So I'm going to be trying to reach out to some of them. But if any of those guys are interested, hit us up on social media, whether you want to tag me or Dirty Mo Media or whatever. If you're competing in the Cars Tour race at North Wilkesboro and you want to be a part of our Q&As, we're doing one each day on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the fans would love to hear from you, and I'd love to get to know you as well. So
you're moderating them.
I'm going to moderate the Q&A.
Yeah. And
I'm counting on the drivers to want to come be a part of it, so we can highlight them and talk about, and I could get to know them. But I've been watching these guys compete with our cars for years. Bobby McCarty and all kinds of different guys. I'd love for them to come so we can let the fans get to know them a little bit. So when the fans can talk to the drivers before the race, hear from them a little bit, you might instantly have fans in the grandstands that you didn't have that later that day cheering you on. So just trying to make it as fun and as a big of a community event as we can. So both days there'll be Q&A sessions, about 45 minutes to an hour apiece. Reach out to us, drivers, if you want to be a part of it. We're going to be reaching out to you either way.
Clarify something real quick. So you're saying that if people that buy a ticket to the race, they have access to this Q&A? Is that right? Is that how that works?
No. The Q&A is
already sold out?
The Q&As are sold out.
Oh, they're already sold out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But you want to have late model drivers to come up there and have conversations with you.
Yeah, I want the drivers competing to be a part of this.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll be fun.
Either way, if not, I'll just be sitting there by myself.
Well, I'm sure that you can make some use of that time still. You like with the fans, but I think that drivers will recognize that as a great opportunity to have a conversation with you, and also probably get their name out there, and also what's going on with them. That'll be fun. Going to be a good week. It'll be a good week.
It'll be fun. So, also don't forget, there's other races, super late model, pro late model races. On the Cars Tour ticket, there's 2 other classes, I think, competing on Tuesday. And, again, the mods are running at the first of the month. And then in October, they're going to dig this place up. Not put dirt on top of it. They're going to dig it up, dig up the asphalt, turn it into a dirt track. And that's just something to see. That's just, you got to go there to see that, to believe it. I cannot wait to watch dirt cars go around that big old racetrack. It's going to be fast. And the uphill, downhill is just going to be wild. So I will also be going to a couple of dirt races to spectate as a fan. So check it out.
I can't wait to watch
go to northwilkesborospeedway.com. It's easy to misspell Wilkesboro, so go to northwilkesborospeedway.com to check out the schedule, buy your tickets, and come out there and support this. If fans don't show up and we don't have a good turnout, it could be a negative thing going forward for the track and its future. So we need everybody to come out and support this. I know they will, but just want y'all to know, if you just even come to one event, man, you're really helping the future of the Speedway.
Well, that is it for this week's Ask Junior.
Awesome.
All right, good job, man. A lot of great questions. Appreciate everybody supporting us as usual. Xfinity, XFi. It's a great service. Xfinity sponsors the Ask Junior portion of the segment, and I'm a customer. It's never let me down, Mike.
That's right.
I don't know how many. I'm on year 2. Not one outage, not one drop.
There you go.
No problems.
It delivers the speed your devices need, and I imagine you have more than one device.
Wait.
You have multiple devices. Lots of devices.
Lots of devices.
And it delivers the
Yep.
speed you need. And everybody, thank you. Great questions this week. Continue to send them to ask with hashtag AskJunior at Xfinity Racing. Hannah will pick the best ones each week, and we'll do this again.
Xfinity, proud partner of NASCAR. Thank you, guys.